Hey, good evening. What do you mean this is a drunken stream? Oh, thanks for thanks for the heads up. I removed them. Don't shame me. Hello, Mudbrains TV do-it-yourself live streaming. It is the making of Vader. Here, everything is a bit delayed, but I hope it will come through. Vader has actually come a long way, and it is day 7 already. Unbelievable. Hello, Cookie Communist 66. So far, like now the stream started. And hello to everyone else that is watching. What will I do today? The last stream was me preparing the cardboard for the mouse piece. So here, this is just a stencil, and I intend to start detailing certain parts of the model now. Well, here the helmet. I don't know if I will touch it. I discovered some severe problems with it. Here, let me explain. Overall, it looks kind of good. Hello, Semyankak. Hey, I've seen your models. They're really nice. It's really nice. Nice paint job you did. Now, maybe you could start adding some custom pieces to them, and then start to finish them off in your way. And I think that will be like really great models. And that's like taking it to the next stop. To the next step. Okay, as was pointed out, this might be a little bit difficult for me to stream today, for I had some drinks before I came here, for I had some place to go to. And so, let's see. The helmet. Problem right now is, I think it looks good from the front. Looks shitty from this side, but much better from this side. And here the only difference is the edge line there as compared to this. Looks kind of okay from the back. But now, if you look from the side and watch the back, there is definitely not enough outwards angle here. This is this is not Vader's helmet. It's not good. It is not good. But the worst part, and I just kind of noticed it after I watched it, like some hours after the stream, and got a fresh view on it, is if you look at it from the top here. This whole stuff looks like kind of puffy, like a pillow or something. And I think it is because here I got curvature in here, and it should be straight up and then enter into the curvature. It's not too hard to change, but it is definitely something that I will have to change. But for the sake of keeping it kind of interesting, I try to not focus on the helmet today, for I did that in the last stream. Last stream. Yeah, so there's some work to be that needs to be done here. Backside and the sides. But overall, this really starts to be a helmet. And I like that the structure is like absolutely strong, and it should be a very good foundation to for all the changes that I will need to have applied to it. Okay, so the helmet. Maybe I can. Wait, but if I put him here, I want to have an angle that's looking not too bad. This would be very nice. Let me see if I can. No. It's difficult because I can't see what I... Very good. This might tip over. Now, here. This is a live stream. If you watch it after the stream, then you will see me sometimes watch at my monitor to kind of watch what is going on in the chat, and that's what I'm doing right now. And then I will react to the chat. One of them was made from scratch from foam and PVC, but the others are painted models. Okay, that's actually even more impressive. I haven't even noticed that one was like completely custom made. I will watch the pictures again, but heads off, that's really nice. I wasn't able to see it. Just that everyone knows what I'm talking about. Samyang Cook, I hope it's like the right pronunciation for the name, has sent me some pictures of his work. And I actually thought that everything was just like a bought piece of plastic. So he's painting Star Wars weapons. And he just right now informed me to the fact that one was custom made from scratch, foam PVC. So that's great. That's really great. I wasn't able to spot it when I looked at the pictures. So double thumbs up for you. Great. I will look at it again, and hopefully now after I've been informed, we'll be able to figure out which one. Great job. Really great job. I'm impressed. Back to Vader. This is where the mask was last touched by me. I started to prepare this thing here. This was the last thing I did in the last live stream, and this was the stencil to this piece here. And this piece is actually just 4 pieces of cardboard glued together, and then I pressed them, and that's where I stopped. It is, I hope you can hear that, unbelievable, even to me, how strong these 4 pieces of cardboard are glued together. This is more like wood or plastic, so I should be able to do some really detailed sculpting on this, and that's what I intend on doing. I want to establish or include this part of the model now. I don't know if I will glue it down or if I will just have it loose as a reference kind of thing. But once this is finished with the interior grill, right? Yeah, I think I switched it now. Then you can see what I mean here. This is basically the outline of this triangular shape at his mouth. And then there's this grill thing going on in there. And there's this indentation at the nose. And behind the grill, there's some kind of grating. Is it a grate? I hope. If not, I hope you know what I mean. And I want to have this piece finished so that I can measure the rest of the model against this. It will not be this wide on the outside edges, for there will be the screws here, and I plan on enlarging the screws quite a bit, for I like them as a feature. And I will try not to look at the at this plastic thing too much anymore. So this was supposed to help me with symmetry and to explain what I'm doing. So now it's just, or mainly, about that I have to like what I what I am building here. So I will look at it for some stuff like how many grills are in there, but overall the composition of the mask is like kind of okay for me, or it starts to approach that point. So now I can start to rely on what I like and what I don't like. I don't have to copy this thing. Bloop. Very good. So I think that's enough of a lead up to me starting this. Where will I put? Wait. I think here is kind of okay. Is it? It's hard for me to see all my monitors here. To actually follow what is happening in the chat, to see me where I am in the shot, and to where I have to position where I have to position stuff so that you can see it. So I need a preview monitor for everything that I do. Here, the camera that is coming from the top, that's cool. Somehow, even though it is very not straight now. Okay, but I know that this whole part is being filmed, but with the here on the side, there's such a weird wide angle lens on there that I have to check against the monitor. So I have a monitor for this cam, I have a monitor for this cam, and this cam is just in a preview window in my streaming software. So I've talked long enough with boring kind of information. I am ready to start working on this thing now. In the last in the last stream, I glued together 4 pieces of cardboard here. And really show that off. Here. They're kind of aligned, but it's not a perfect outside. And for all the mechanical pieces of the Mask of Vader, I want them to be as angular as possible, for it will really help sell the volume of the model. This means that here I got some files here, which I use after I glued models together, or after I glued different pieces of cardboard together, just to get all the sides to be as close together as possible. And it might be a good idea to show you this on my small camera here. Even further down. I hope you can watch it once I switch the camera. Here. Now I'm just trying to make this here one even surface. Here, and this is like kind of okay compared to the other side. It's actually really good, which means I'm just going at it. For the problem, if you cut stuff from a stencil or from whatever, with cardboard it is really, really hard to get the exact same dimensions. Which means it's, at least what I found out for me, it's much easier to like try to cut as precise as you can, but then glue all the stuff together, or if you need 4 individual pieces, just take the 4 pieces, press them together, and then file them, or use some sanding paper, which sometimes is easier if you would file it like that. But in the preparation for my going live now, I was not able to find sandpaper, so I use my trusted files here. Me looking back at the chat right now, the helmet should be in a museum when it's done. I like really think it's away from being good enough to be featured anywhere, and I think if anything should be in a museum, it's like the original designs for the helmet. Well, I'm just trying to build something that remembers me of my youth, and have my memories on the wall was from stuff that I built. And I think when I sculpt this for myself, it's like a representation of my memory. And in a museum, there should be original stuff. So if I would come up with stuff that people are interested in, then that stuff potentially under my rules would be fit for a museum. On the other hand, stuff like this would be nice for a like exposition for just fan art or stuff like that. And I hope it's going to be in a way, or going to be at least good enough that I would deem it good enough for my expectations. So I'm mostly building it for me, and I try to explain how I build it, just that people like want to build stuff for themselves. Blah. Do you know what I mean? I hope you know what I mean. And now I'm switching back to the other camera. Okay, so here I'm filing away at this. Memosorio Games. Hi. That's really nice. 3 people, and all have been regular on my live streaming. That's cool. That makes me happy. Thanks for being there. Sorry, I don't have to be too exact right now. This is more to show you the concept. So I will spend a lot of time on this. Okay. Now that I like smoothed the edges, or smoothed, made these sides of this thing even, I can start to put in the lines where I want to cut it. And now I just use this for explanation purposes. Here, there's an outside to this triangular shape, and if you can see that, it's broader here on the direct sides of the triangle, and much smoother on top here. First, I will concentrate on the triangle and leave this here as a full part, so it won't break too easy while I work on the whole thing. Okay, I will decide on the thickness of this now, and I actually plan on going with something like a centimeter is too much. I will try to go with 0.8, and I think that's let me check that this is the width I used on this template. Yeah, something like that. Now, I actually took the wrong side. For this side is supposed to be the front side, and I always try to have any kinds of prints on the back side. So this way, there's no need for me to cover it. For in the final model, I don't want to have any kind of cardboard print on there, and definitely nothing of a company. And when cutting stuff, especially, if it's a very thick kind of cardboard, it is very hard to cut through it at a perfect 90-degree angle. Your knife will always go from left to right and left to right, which means that the best representation of what you drew on there is on the side that you drew it on there, and the opposing side to the side where you cut from will always be not as good as the as the other side, which means draw it to one side and then cut it from that side, and all the funkiness of your cut can be sanded away on the opposing side. Okay, me just sometimes looking at the monitor if there's something that I can respond to while I do stuff with my face away from the monitor. Now I'm trying to measure 0.8 centimeters here. Which is actually not that easy, for I got a very bright overhead light from there, which is needed to for the camera to have enough light. But there's a very strong reflection in this plasticky material here. But I needed to be see-through, or I wouldn't be able to measure anything. So now for this nose part here, I on purpose drew it way too large, for I don't know here which height I really need, and you can already see it here that it's way taller than it should be. But this is, as I try to say from time to time, or mention, right. It's always easier to cut stuff away than to, as opposed to adding stuff to what you're doing. And here, for example, is one design change which I will make. That I'm drawing this line with a rounded. Wait, is it bigger actually? I don't know. And I hope you can see it. That from this side of the triangle, I'm going in here, and then I'm doing a rounded off thing. But this helps me to have more wall thickness. Well, I'm working with cardboard and not with some kind of metal or other very strong materials. So I have to at least get my designs in line with the material that I'm using, so that it's strong enough. Now, and I'm like very interested to see in how easy or how hard it will be to cut this stuff, as it feels as a rock, or as some kind of wood, or no, this is actually really nice to cut. And I would strongly suggest that you take this some kind of scalpel for it, like I'm doing right now, just to see the difference. I will cut the other side with a normal cardboard knife, but I suspect, no, actually the thickness of the blades is not that different, but the scalpel blade is still a bit thinner, which makes it easier to do deeper cuts. And let me see how it works out with the cardboard knife. What I can say right now, that it's harder to pull it through the cardboard, and this will be explained by the thickness, but it's actually not that bad. So if you just have a cardboard knife, that's good enough. I like to use a scalpel, for I have a bit more control. For I can hold this scalpel like a pen, and here I will have to hold it like a very coarse tool. which means, or which leads me to that the edge there I will use the method where I have the most control. So, but I just want to point out that a lot of this cardboarding stuff, as I have chosen to call it now, really does not depend on the tools, more on how you apply them and what you're willing to do. And so it's not about the tools. It's mostly about how to use what you have, and that's actually why I really like doing this stuff with cardboard. And here on the live stream, I'm trying to use as few tools as possible. So no, well, I don't want to discourage people to try it, which I have experienced for myself. If I watch someone, like, I don't know, do some stuff with wood or whatever kind of material, a lot of times they use like 10 tools and 10 power tools just for a very simple thing. And yeah, sure, with these kind of tools that they employ, it looks perfect. So, or they get into a kind of finish on the thing that they're building, which I wouldn't be able to achieve with normal tools. And that really discourages me to actually try it. Okay, this side looks quite nice here for this cut here. This is a bit rounded, as you can see. I didn't manage to perfectly cut along the edge, but just if you're not able to meet or to actually completely hit the mark, just try to stay on the inside of it. So I mean, what I want to say is, I want to use the part that is left here. And if I would cut into that, that's hard. If I'm cutting too far to the inside here, that's actually not a problem, for I can just take that away here with some filing or sanding and whatever method of getting rid of it you want to use. And in this way, if you stay on the safe side with your cut, you can always come back to exactly the shape that you want to have. So this way you can be much more precise. Okay, and I think this triangular shape, or this cutout, is really really good. Let's watch in context with the mask. I love it. Here, and I will later on decide which kind of angle I want to use for it. But just as I try to explain, is for here the whole mask got just a lot of very curved surfaces. And now the more attention you pay to every very mechanical thing, and the closer this is to the actual shape, the more you can sell all the other stuff in the mask. And I will never be able to get to a perfect surface finish with cardboard, or not in the way that I do it. If I want to go to a perfect finish, I would need to use a lot of filler, sand it, fill it again, sand it, work around the whole time, but that's not what I want with this cardboard thing. I want people to be able to see that it was made just from cardboard and paper. And I don't want to hide any kind of shortcomings that I have with the surface. And a curved surface is very difficult to get it perfect, or to get it close to perfect. It's always far from perfect, but it's a lot easier for straight lines and very edgy stuff to get to that. You know what I mean. I hope you know what I mean. Okay, this here I really like. Now there are 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4. Wait. I don't know if it's showing up on the overhead cam. Change it to here. There's 4 of these grill pieces in here. They're roughly the same width as the outside, which would mean here I glued 4 pieces of cardboard together for this piece. But I don't actually want to use more than 4, so it's okay that this is thicker. The nice thing now is, for this piece was cut out of the mask, and this grill thing starts like on the left and on the right side of the indentation of the nose. I can use this to cut all my pieces that I will use for the grill then. I put that here, and I will remove this camera. Now I just have to measure this. Here I can press it back in here. The easiest way is to just define a center line for the whole thing. Maybe it's good to measure this here. Okay, there's some stray stuff. So this is like 3.5 centimeters to each side. I will mark the center and just like kind of get a midpoint thing here. Now I need 4 of these grill kind of things, which I will just put down like this. Here on this side I got 6 millimeters, so I'm going to mark 6 millimeters on the side opposite to it. And now I'm just trying to see if the proportions are right, if the spacing here between the things is right, so that it's roughly the same between all the pieces. And what I can see from here, from one to the next, it's 1.5 from this one to this one, and to have the outer one be at 1.5, I would have to move it further over here, but then it actually wouldn't show up in this mouse part, which means that lets me put the thickness of this thing here to, and I'm going with 4 millimeters, to the inside of that line. So this will roughly be 1 I just eyeball it from here to here. Some like 4 millimeters. Here, in the end, what it comes down to, if this is not really perfect, I don't really have a problem with that. But I try to get as close as I can, but I don't want to spend like all day doing it perfectly. For then I could build it in a computer. So. Now I take or start with this line, try to have it be like nearly as wide as this one. This one will be put in a bit, and I wanted this to be roughly that size. Okay, there's a lot of lines now. Sometimes when I'm getting confused with all the lines that I see, I just try to give everything that I want to actually use. I try to give it a color, and this way it's much easier for me to not cut the wrong part away from it. Does it make sense? Please help me help me out here. I'm just trying to fill the time. Now I try to cut it, and I try to stay. Wait, I can use the camera again. I try to stay as close to a 90-degree angle as I can when I cut it, for that means that I will have a lot less of cleanup to do. Here. And everything I say here is just born from, or just came from my doing this channel here. I am not an expert on building stuff or whatever. This is just the most efficient way that I found while doing my stuff. I haven't really watched channels where they're building stuff from cardboard like this. So I've seen some channels doing stuff from paper, but then they always use printouts and stuff like that. For me, it's more about sculpting, so that everything that comes out in the end is really a unique piece. So I don't like to use a blueprint of sorts, which I print out, and then it's just who is the best at cutting it the most perfect. That's not what I'm trying to do here, which means that for the way I build stuff, maybe there are videos, and there's definitely one video about how to make gears and stuff from cardboard, and I took that idea of, I have to show it now. And I took the idea for these cardboard gears from that channel, and it was the first time I saw that you can like just split cardboard apart, and then you're left with this wavy thing. I mean, I've seen it before, but that there's this wave thing for you can buy cardboard like that, but I've not seen anyone use it as a gear kind of thing, and that was something that I saw on another channel, which or to which shame on me, I can't even point you now. But if I find that again, and I will look, I will point you to it. For I think YouTube is about just trying to help everyone. Well, I learned a lot of stuff on YouTube, but not when it comes to this, but a lot of stuff about painting, a hell of a lot of stuff about using Premiere, Adobe Premiere, Photoshop, After Effects, and YouTube by now is my like go-to resource if I'm not able to do something. Go back. If I'm not really able to get something done, I will look it up at YouTube, and most of the time there's somebody that's explaining it. And that's actually the idea with this channel, that I try to talk about my techniques, and other people or other persons, blah blah blah, don't have to right? No, don't have to. They can watch it and incorporate that in their work. And my hope is that they come up with better ways. But this is just the way I do it. And I'm very interested to see how people like use a certain starting point, which for sure is like more advanced as opposed to me starting doing this, and what they will come up with. For if you spend a lot of time with stuff, everyone will come up with their own way of doing things. And that's actually yeah, and that is actually something that I find really exciting. And I hope that people watching this try to do something with cardboard. Hey, come on. It's really fun. Even though it might be discouraging to see how long it takes, but okay, but that's a different thing. For most things that look good, they just take a whole lot of time. For me, I wanted to, or I started some acrylic paintings, and I looked at finished acrylic pieces, and they looked so perfect. Where I was like under the impression that I would never be able to pull that off. And then I found some time lapses on YouTube where I just saw like it's the same as with everything. Yeah, I've discovered some techniques too. Very good. That's what it's about. And that's why YouTube is so great, just to feed off each other and then try to give it back. And so everybody gets better. With these acrylic paintings I was talking about, then I watched them, and it's the same thing with everything that is really good. It's like 80%, or 20% is sketching, or just trying to figure out the form, relationships, and everything, and then it's just work. Then you have just to put your back into it, and just refine, and there's no magic technique for stuff to look really good. There's some techniques that help you not waste time, but there's no magic technique that anything looks that is a finished piece of whatever kind of artwork. There is no thing that all of a sudden makes it look good. It's just work. And it was very good for me to see that, for I had a different mindset after that. After I saw real masters of their craft paint their stuff in front of me. Okay, here, these are the 4 pieces that are left. The first thing you can see is I really able to get these bows to the same width. So this is not wide enough, which should not be that way. Here, this is like too extreme. So this 3 roughly got the same width. So I will expand the width of this one, and here maybe about once here. Let me see. That's like nearly perfect. So I will add one thickness, one layer of cardboard thickness to it, and then it's the same for all these pieces. You just try to get a straight cut here. Now I want to have the height of this piece of cardboard. So I just measure it roughly here. This is the height. I made sure that I cut it 90 degrees to the wavy pattern, for this is the stronger edge. Here, where there's, if you cut along the waves, this is the edge that will like really, it's hard for this edge to hold its shape. Now I will just glue this to whichever side it's, here to the side, let it dry, and then cut away the excess parts. Here. And I try to make sure that the front side of it is level. Okay. So that there's one smooth thing here, and there's an overlap on the back side, but that I can cut away. And for this model right now, you wouldn't be even able to see the back side, so it's no problem that it overlaps on that side. I will let them dry here. Yeah, is this a close-up kind of camera showing up good enough? Can you make out the detail? For in my preview window here, I can't really tell if it's just very pixelated or if it's actually kind of useful. Okay, these pieces here have to be integrated into this mouse piece. But if you watch the mask, here it's not just glued to the front here, it is actually receding into the mask. Here on the front part, yeah, it's level with this thing. Here on the front it starts here, and then it's pushed back to the back side, pushed back in. For what I will do now is I still have this pieces left, and I will use them to glue all of these pieces together, that they're on this that they're on this that they're actually on that they're on one level, and then I can tilt the whole level. So I actually try to build this thing here as a separate piece, and then I will push that inside to the inside of this. So I don't try to glue the pieces in here, for I will never be so exact. Which means I build this whole thing, this fork looking kind of, as a single piece. What will benefit me here is that I still have all the pieces that were in between here. So I can use the spacing of these pieces to have them in the right at the right height. The very observant watchers right now see that I added these the thickness of the cardboard to all these pieces here. So I will have to subtract that thickness from these parts, which I will try to do with I'm not sure if I want to cut it or if I want to file it away, but I try to file it. Let's see if this will work. And now to measure if I'm filing away too much or too little, it's helpful just to first file away one side. Okay, for here you might see that here it is getting narrower. And once you filed away the one side, you can like eyeball it, that you take away the same amount of material on the other side. And this does not have to be perfect for I established a thickness, and now I'm just trying to very carefully take stuff away from the opposing side until it roughly looks as if it would be the same width or thickness, depending on whichever side you're observing it from. Okay. This looks nice. I will cut this piece of cardboard now. And I will just use whatever piece of cardboard that has the right height. I will glue this together, use this as a base for my and now actually here what I did now, oh yeah, you haven't been able to see it. Yeah, what I did now, I tried to glue two pieces with the same direction of the cardboard on top of each other, and expect that to have any kind of strength. It wouldn't actually, for it will always be very quick to break or bend into the direction of that wavy pattern. So I will look for another piece of cardboard where the direction is like in a 90 degrees angle towards the first piece. In this way, greatly increasing the strength of it. And it would be very helpful if it's not already pre broken. I'm still searching for the word. Here. Now I glue these two pieces together, and you can clearly see that the one piece got the direction of the cardboard of the waves in this direction, and the other in this direction. And this will give me a much stronger piece. Always remember this, for you can actually get some really strong cardboard. And that's with this piece here. Okay, it's hard to see if you haven't cut that at an angle, but here you still like kind of can see it. Here, the bottom side, there you can the lower of the 4 layers got the wavy pattern visible. Then there's one with it not visible, visible, not visible. So this is 4 pieces of very thin cardboard, and this here is really strong and not very thick for it. It's very important thing to remember if you want to have some kind of structural strength to your cardboard builds. And this way you can actually rival a very light wood, like this balsa, or in German it's called balsa, which is like the bark of some trees, which is used for aeroplanes, for model airplanes and stuff like that. Okay, here I knock these things apart with my fingers, but now here I will glue them down to this, and watch out that everything is on a really straight line. I will push it against something else. I will drown this in glue, let the glue actually I will take a bit too much, or for a normal kind of glue thing, for I want the glue to really move into the cardboard here. Now I will press it down for not too long. Yeah, I try to move this that it's not getting stuck to my cutting mat. And once I think that there's a basic bond going on between cardboard glue and cardboard, I will remove the pieces that are not supposed to be in there. Is that still visible? Maybe I will do it like this. I hope it's visible. I don't really know how much resolution ends up on your part of the live stream, but I hope it's good enough. Here, I will take away or remove excess glue. And I will try to remove the glue that is on my cutting mat as early as possible. Now I try to peel away or separate the pieces that I don't want here. If what you can see is that they started. Stream looks good. Thanks for the feedback. Here, once I remove them now, I change it. Here you can see that there's already a bond between glue and the lower layer of the cardboard. But just press it back on there. Or if I would wait like another 10 minutes, it would be really hard to remove the other pieces without permanently destroying the Here, this is already okay. There was already a very strong bond between that piece and the lower piece. Okay, here. This is not very strong now, but it is getting there. That's great. And this will then be, let me show that, will be angled in here. And that should look really good. For me to be able to angle this piece in here, I need to extend the inside walls of this triangle to the back. For here, if you can see that, here there's quite a lot of depth to the inside piece of the mask here. So to the top part, and for me to be able to angle it back and glue it in there, I need to extend the inside of the mask back. And here on the top part, there it is not necessary. It will just go to to a certain depth. This means, or leaves me here was a very simple kind of task, and this is to bring something like this here into this triangle thing. And here, if I would have it like this, it would be perfect, but it's very difficult to glue this piece in like that at an angle, for there's not enough contact between the two surfaces that I want to glue together. So it has to be straight at first, and then I will have to cut the thing on there. I try to get this curvature, which will be the bottom of that nose thing. Yep. Okay, and then I just need to measure the length. I put it in like this, and I will mark that down here. Yeah. For anybody that's watching this stream, and anybody thinking like, oh my god, this takes really long, if you would actually just build it, on your own, it's a bit faster, for you wouldn't explain all the steps. But I try to talk about it, at least in the live streams. And for stuff that I'm building off camera, there are the time lapses on the channel where you can just watch the whole process without me wasting your time with just trying to talk you through every single step. And here, this Vader live stream, it is a first for me. It's my first stream that I'm doing, or this is not the first stream anymore, but the first project which I stream. And so I'm still kind of learning first about the streaming, and then this is the most advanced thing that I tried to build yet, and I figured that would be a good time to start live streaming. Okay, now I figured out the width and everything. This fits in quite nicely, so I can cut this to the size or the length that I roughly want and start applying. Oh, this would have been too fast, because once I glue this thing in here, it will be very hard to remove this part here, because I don't know how much of the height of this nostril thing I will use. I will just get rid of I will respond to the chat in just a second. Here I will just get rid of the lower part here for just this lower part will touch it, and once there's free space here, it's easy for me to cut away the rest. But once I glue down the interior of this triangle, it will be very hard for me to cut away stuff without destroying something. And that would mean that I have to clean up more than is necessary. I feel quite lucky that I caught this. Or there are some times where, like, order of business. That's a nice slip up. Where it is important to, or where it's very beneficial to have steps in a certain order. Okay, it's a bit stubborn, this piece, but I was able to get it out of there. Oops. Okay, I'm back. Bigger camera. In the chat, I've been working on my DLT-19 for a long time, probably around 15 to 20 hours of work. And it shows. You did a really nice job with all the coloring and stuff. And I say it shows that you took time, even though I was not able to see that you actually build the one from scratch. And if you build it from scratch and then painted it, and that within 20 hours, that's really good. If you're interested in it, I'm thinking about not on a regular basis, but to have a video, something like frequently asked questions, or I don't know how to call it, but in that video I would love to show stuff that some viewers of the channel have done. And if you would be interested, and if you would give me permission, I would like to show you stuff. Maybe you can message me about that, or message me about it. Then I would give you an email address, where you could send me high-res images. Okay, this will be glued to the inside now. Just which side is front? This side. And while doing this, I try to cool, thanks. I think that would be a nice thing to see stuff that other people did. And now, especially if you see that someone's there in the live streams, and then other people that view the channel have seen your name before, and not just for you, but for everyone. I think it would be really nice to show off stuff that people that watch this channel have done. That's cool. Thank you very much. I will send you an email link through the PlayStation message. Okay? Now, this will move in here. And I put it flat on the table so I can press it down, that I don't have to cut any, or that I don't have to like file or cut anything on the front side. You just take a look here. It just says internal walls in here. They really help to give it some kind of depth, strength. I like it. Okay, one small problem here. If I look at this now, here I try to I level it on the bottom side, and this way, wait, here you should be able to see that this piece is not as high as this piece, and this is not as high as high as this. This does not look good, and I think I will expand these two pieces for if the whole surface is angled backwards, then they need to be a bit longer. Yeah, that's it. I just caught my proportion mismatch there, and because I still have this leftovers, it should be really easy to just take a piece from the older parts. Okay, it's the wrong camera for this. To just take a piece from the parts that I used before and attach it to the new parts. Yeah, now I just want to get the angle right. If you cut multiple layers of cardboard, it's really easy to just press them all together while cutting. So it's best to use a sawing kind of motion and don't apply too much pressure. To the cardboard, or you will just have a very compressed piece that loses volume. Here, I will just file that down. Okay. Now, this is the wrong camera for this. Here, I file it down a bit. Until it roughly matches the angle of the piece that I want to enlongen. And now I will use my cutting mat as a measuring tool, and I see it's roughly 4 millimeters that I want to add. So I put that at 4 millimeters and try to just cut it. Yeah, the cut is not perfect, but I can always like file it into the right length, or to the right length. But you already see that this one matches up with this one much better than it did before. Now up for the second fix. I mean, I understand that this is kind of boring, but it's actually me talking about a technique that really helped me. For if I wouldn't be able to, or if I would decide, oh shit, here the proportions are wrong, I will have to rebuild this whole thing here. To rebuild the whole thing would take so much more time and would be so much more frustrating that this possibility here to just use some parts that were leftovers from doing what you did before is a very convenient way, and it just shows you how easily you can fix stuff when you build it with cardboard. Here for this, for example, with some plastics or other sculpting materials would be a much bigger deal, a lot more time consuming. And that's why I like cardboard, for it's like very, very direct. If you know what I mean. So how long? Oh my god! It is already. How time flies when when I'm having fun. Here, and just showing this can kind of like give you an idea why, for example, the Terminator arm took so long to build. For it's just little mechanical pieces. And if I build a small box that's just 1 by 1 by 1 centimeter, it's the time that I spend on that is nearly the same as I would build it in 15 by 15 by 15. And if you look at stuff, just look at how many different shapes are there. Not really how big they are. For the time to get one shape right is nearly the same no matter how big it is. And I mean reasonably big, not like huge. Okay. Here, one thing that is standing out to me when I watch the Vader mask is that here this grill thing is angled inwards, something like that. Maybe it's easier to show it this way. Here is angled inwards, and the angling for this starts actually here at the bottom here, or nearly at the bottom there, which means I should introduce the angle that I want to use for this at this piece here, which what in turn means I have to like angle this whole thing. And to cut an even angle, here it helps if you like mark a line down. So, and now I know that once I reach that line, or that I want to reach the line across the whole length of the of this thing here. And let me show you. To cut stuff like this, you need multiple cuts, and it really helps to have some kind of optical helper there, no matter where you are in your cut. And the layering of the cardboard shows you how whether shallow or strong your angle is. I don't know the right wording for it, but here I will show you like this. Here. Now, here the angle on this side is, yeah, I think it should show up, is not very steep. So it's very shallow. And all I can see is that I cut one piece of cardboard. And I know it's 4 layers. And on this side I can actually see that I went into the second layer of the cardboard for the wave pattern starts showing up here. And this way I know where I want to stop on the lower side. And once I see all the different layers of cardboard here, I know how far I want to, or how big I want this angle to be. So watch the cardboard and try to use it to your advantage there. And with doing this, I once again go silent, for I try not to cut into my fingers. Now I try to have the same amount of cardboard show up for every level that I cut, and you can see that it's kind of getting in the right direction here. So I will take away a bit more, a few millimeters on the back side of the cut. And then I should have a good angle. Here, this kind of technique to look out for the different layers is actually something that is really helpful, or where I first was made aware of it. If you cut, or if you sand down plywood. Do you know what plywood is? A skateboard is made of plywood. Like this multi-layered wood thing, and equally to cardboard, each direction of the wood is got its structure, once like this, once this, once this, once this, always crisscrossing each other, so there's a clear visual difference between the different layers. And when you try to sand down, or if you want to bevel an edge, and always just look at the different layers that you're exposing while sanding it down, you will roughly have the preferred, or the angle that you want to have. Damn. Okay, this here, it is kind of nice, but very fragile. To give it more strength, I will glue it down all of it here to a piece of cardboard, and once it dried, I will cut it out. This should give me a whole lot of added strength for this piece, and this will be very beneficial once here, this is good. Once I try to glue it into here, for the top of this grill elements, it will have to be angled at a certain to a certain degree, and this will put a lot of pressure or stress on the cardboard. Hi, live chat. Can someone please say anything, or at least ask anything, or it's hard for me to just talk. Difficult. Even though I think I've gotten better since the first live cast. But on the other hand, maybe you think it's gotten worse. For now I won't shut up. It's hard for me to know that. So I just sit here, and because I can't watch anything, I can't hear anything, I try to fill the silence. Okay, as you might see right now, no need to be sorry, just I'm just talking. It's all good, and actually there's quite a bit of technique that I'm trying to explain here. Here I will cut this at an angle. The wavy pattern is going like this, and once I go 45 degrees to it, it won't matter in which direction my cardboard that I'm gluing to the top of it is angled, for it will always be the best compromise. And for maybe one piece of the cardboard is angled with the wavy pattern and the other is angled against it, and then this is the way to get a added bonus of strength for both of them. Chat. Okay, here in the chat, Semicock, I'm working on the battle droid head right now, so I'm not talking as much, and that is actually the perfect thing to do, or what I imagine would be the perfect thing to maybe watch my live streaming thing here and just build something for yourself while you watch me or listen to me. And yeah, when I know people that are watching or listening to this are building stuff too, that's like, yeah, in a way of sitting somewhere and everybody's building his stuff. That's great. Keep on, and please don't let your workflow be interrupted with me trying to encourage the chat. Thanks for answering, but please keep working. And I want to see the droid head after it's done. And take pictures while you're doing it. That would be great, of course. Then you have some kind of time lapse. And yeah, that would be great. Maybe you can do that. Okay. My gluing it down to another piece of cardboard has multiple benefits now, because I need some strength first to cut the front of it, and even to stand it up like this would have been hard without some cardboard in the back. Oops. Here, chat, I wish you could try out the material I'm using. I don't know. I've modeled using a lot of different stuff. Maybe I'm going to get a model from the shelf or some other stuff right now, just to show it off. Here that I'm using cardboard is a very conscious decision, for I was just really tired of throwing away huge quantities of cardboard. And then once I started building stuff from it, and you can see it on the channel, in the beginning it was more furniture and more camera gear stuff. Then I got into doing more with cardboard, and then I decided to do this Mud Do It Yourself thing to actually show how much you can do with cardboard, for I was quite amazed what was possible. And for my personal stuff that I'm doing, I used a lot of different materials. Even though I'm still intrigued with this, mostly the cosplay people use it, versus this foam thing. Then there's this wobbler, which is a thermoplastic, so which means you heat it up, and as long as it's hot, as long as it's hot, you can bend it in all different kinds of shapes, and when it cools off, it will retain the shape that you put it in. And that's stuff that's used by most of the cosplay people that are doing this crazy kind of World of Warcraft uniforms and stuff like that. So, and there's some extremely skilled people in that community. But that was like a supporting factor, a supporting thing in my decision to try to show that you can do good stuff without spending a whole lot of money on the stuff that you need to actually build it. And this wobbler, what I've been talking about, is like expensive. I don't know. A sheet of this size is maybe, I don't know, what would it be, like equivalent to $10. And that was something I watched videos of people using it, and was like very impressed with the stuff that they did with it, but I really didn't want to put in that kind of money just to be able to build something. And yeah, so I wound up with cardboard. And when I was very young, I tried to build my stuff from paper. So for me, this is a throwback thing here. Okay, I will get rid of the front now. And I don't know how far I get with the scissors here, but I try to cut out this shape now and hope it is strong enough. And then I can already see that, okay, here, there, this is important. This is a very common problem when working with cardboard stuff, which is here, as you can see, I hope, yeah, the top layer of the cardboard is coming off, and the whole stability of this piece here is lost. And that is actually why when I try to finish a piece, I always try to have another piece on cardboard on top of structurally important cardboard. Or what I do is just this, where I smear everything with cardboard, and then I'm rounding off the edges while it's in there. And with this rounding off process, the whole piece gets like glued together internally. And then this does not happen. But as a hotfix, if you hotfix, yeah, it is a hot fix, but it's not a hot glue fix. Just to fix it is smear some glue to the inside. Here, I don't want it to be everywhere, so I use this tool kind of thing. And this is actually what I meant with smearing stuff in there and then rounding off the edges. It would be the same technique. Here I try to fill up the cardboard with glue. And yeah, once I've done that and gave the glue some time to really soak into the cardboard or into the paper, then I can really sculpt the whole thing. Okay, now I try to just apply some pressure to it, and I think I will use my trusted weights for it. First, I'm here. Have this on the back side, and now I can press against it, and I don't have to use both hands. Okay, this little piece here nearly took as long as it took me to get the whole structure for the helmet. So this is like 1 hour and 50 minutes now. But yeah, it's just a lot of small different pieces, and each one has to be addressed individually, and that just takes a lot of work. But that actually makes the difference in the end, where people start doubting that it is actually made by cardboard. For the perception of what you can do it is just somehow by our head limited to very coarse things. People know that from thick paper you can do a whole lot, but cardboard, especially this wavy thing, so the cardboard that we have in abundance, is never really regarded as a valid building material. Or never is wrong for if you want to become an architect or some kind of design stuff. People will actually teach you how to do cardboard models. I never did that, but I was on the Maker Faire, and a guy told it to me that he had to learn cardboard building techniques in his while he was at the university. I asked him we talked very briefly about what kind of stuff, and most of the stuff is really just more angular to get a feeling for the size and proportions for stuff, and they wouldn't use it for like very intricate things. There's different materials that are more effective when it comes to what we're talking about. And for architectural work, this might not be or would not be precise enough. For you always have to build stuff to scale, and so maybe they build all their stuff like to 1/100th or whatever, and it has to be really close or really precise for that, and that is actually something I'm not really in. So here it's more about sculpting as against to constructing. Yeah, that's the difference. It's the same thing with blueprints. They're constructed with a whole set of tools and stuff, and that came through the ages, and the tools are perfect for construction work, but they're kind of limiting for creative work. Okay, I try to get rid of the last pieces of unwanted or of excess cardboard, for I just use this to have some stability. And actually right now I remember why I put the cardboard there, and it would have been wrong to get rid of it now. Okay, so yeah, I will have to reapply a strip of paper there. I wanted to have more stability for this thing, so I can cut the angle on the top of each single piece here. Here for you it like this here. This will be glued in like something like at this angle here. And now if you watch the back side, I don't really have a very good surface to put the glue on. So I need to angle this. This angle here has to be applied to the top of these grating things. Okay, and once that is applied, then I can remove the pieces there. And now another thing is that I want to get rid of this ridge here, but I don't really want to get rid of it. I just want to move it down like to here, that I have something where I can put this on, but I don't want it to stick out. So I need to move the whole thing down by this amount. Okay, so this is like 9 centimeters. So this thing has to move down 9 centimeters. Now I don't have any structure here where I can glue it on, which means I will first cut this piece off. For this I will just use the here. And now with this cut I will perform my cut on the outside of what I marked down. Okay, the one side is liberated from its oppressing bigger neighbor. Now I do the same thing here. Here now, if I want to extend this surface, it is very hard to just glue cardboard directly to it. An easy way is to just first you glue down an here this kind of overlay or overhang. You do that on both sides, and then you can glue the piece actually to this and to the cardboard that's surrounding it, which is first much faster than to do it any other way, or as opposed to other ways that I'm aware of. And on the other hand, it's on the other hand, it's much more precise. Right here, I just put a piece of cardboard down here, try to make okay, my one camera here died on me. I don't know why. Thanks for telling me. My close-up cam somehow decided it would not want to cooperate anymore. Here, this is my close-up cam with this great piece of hardware that I built to be able to put it to different heights. And that was the easiest way that I could think of to actually do that. Yeah, I will just unplug the camera and let it cool off for a while, for maybe it's just a heat problem. Where was I? Okay, here, with just gluing a small part of cardboard down behind the wall or behind the piece of cardboard that you want to expand, you have a whole lot of room to push down or to put down glue, and you can actually guide the additional piece that you will use. This is a very very nice technique to extend edges. Flip. Okay, the feed is back up. Thanks for the heads up again. And hello, Blue Reason. Very nice. Your first contribution to the live chat, and it was a very important one. Thank you very much. Okay, here I put down glue to 1/2 of my support cardboard, and I just put it into place. It should dry very fast, and then the extension will just be added like that. I will try to have the extension follow the same pattern, the same direction of this wave thing. I already miss my my close-up camera. It really helped today, and for today was the first day that I really used it frequently, and then it decides to bail on me. That's not nice. Okay. As for attaching cardboard, or for a lot of this stuff, for me it's like always easier to use a bigger piece of cardboard and then just cut the overhang away, as opposed to spending all the time to get the perfect measurement and then have to trim it. Even if you don't have to trim it, it's just much faster to just glue something on there and just cut away the pieces that you don't need. This way it's much easier to have edge continuity, that this edge, for example, then can really I think I found the reason why the close-up cam stopped working. I think the USB connector was not really pressed in. Not properly. I think I did it while when I positioned the helmet there. But yeah, it got caught. Thanks again. That's very helpful. Last time when the audio was down, I was notified too. That was great. Now extending edge number 2. And as I said, I will just glue something to the back of here, but I don't actually want to use real cardboard, but I'm just going to use a piece of this brown paper bag. Yeah. Here, I wish you could come help me make my droid head. Hey, I'm sure you will figure it out, and I think the biggest part of, or the most beneficial. Here, he has a problem, probably doing some kind of thing on the build he's working on. It's a droid head from Star Wars. And I think that the more problems you have, which you overcome, so you see the problem, somehow you figure out a way to deal with the problem, and even if it's not the best way, once you like think, oh, I could have done it like this, like this, like this, then you're actually getting better. So to be confronted with problems while building anything is actually the best thing that could happen to you if you want to get better at what you do. And to get into this problem solving state of mind is actually very beneficial to everything you do in life. If you are used to dealing with problems or with stuff that's not perfect in a way, then these kind of situations become less scary. And some people are scared if there's a problem. Other people are just, oh, okay, there's a problem, let's deal with it. And that's actually a very different mindset. And I try to adopt the mindset of where a problem is just a challenge. So there are problems that are where you cannot or that you can't talk over in this playful kind of way, but I mean like solvable problems. 9th attempt on a piece and it didn't work. Maybe so if you try to just wait a moment. I will go back to here. There, I'm reacting to the chat. If you try the a certain thing just for X amount of times, and you haven't been able to get it right, just try and take a different piece. Just put it aside, let your head forget about it, try something else where there's different challenges, and just come back to that piece the next day. Once you slept over it and look at it with a fresh pair of eyes, your head is open again towards this thing. That's the same like here for my helmet that I'm building right now. First I try if the camera works now. I always need a couple of hours to see if I really like what I built there. And that's especially true for some proportional proportions and for the design side of things. Always try to get a fresh pair of eyes. Hey, you did it. Okay. So I talked all this time and you already solved it. Very good. Cool. I'm really looking forward to see it. I have the camera working, so it should show up on the stream now. Here, I glued this to the back side, and this should help to keep the cardboard from spreading around. Here, now I want this on here. Wait. Here. Now I got this angled surface here. Let me see how I want to fit that in here. Yeah. Okay, this is way too long. This will be glued in here, and I set something like 9 millimeters down, but I measured it from this edge here. I will now try to create the same length for the whole wall piece here. Oops. So while with doing this, I actually have an edge that I can measure against. Here, this is the upper side of my piece. For everybody that joined right now, I will give a quick summary once I'm done with this here of what I am doing right now. Okay, I try to get this to the same heights as I had the other stuff. Okay. And now I had here. I removed this piece from here. And okay, I removed this piece from here, and actually here the two seams where I extended the edge are my reminders of where it has to go, and then now I just need to mark down 9 centimeters from the top, 9 millimeters. Well, that's what I measured before, and then I will reapply it there. Okay. And then this just needs to be glued on here and here. And I will, for this small area, is not really able to receive enough glue for this part to be strong where I'm putting it in. So I will have to support it additionally. Okay, here just for the viewers that joined in, I will switch to here and show, or just tell you what I'm doing. Here, this is a Vader cardboard helmet as far as I know. This is just the rough shape, and I will work over all the surfaces to have them look nice and not like a paper trash can. But the shape is already coming along quite nice, and this is a helmet that goes with it in the like preview shape. Still a rough shape, but this is getting there too. Today I started with the piece that will be here, or so. And this triangle, and this triangle down here are like the most iconic things of the mask. At least that's what I think, and that's why I try to spend an extra amount of time to get them right. So for I hope that they really hold the whole thing together. Wait, I should watch from here. And that's what I'm doing right now. And just to show going to is here's a from a toy. There's a Vader helmet that is used for rough reference. That's a nice name for a band. As rough reference, and I am building this the inside grill to this piece here. That's what I am doing right now. Okay. Nice. This is not 100% the right depth that I wanted to have for the grill, but I can just push it up a bit. And, the difference is just here. This small part here is what I need to add, and then I can have it and flush on the top of this triangle thing. This means I will probably 2 layers of cardboard added to this angled surface should do the trick. Okay, I want a piece that can cover the whole length of it, which would be this and this. So just as a thing for everyone, if anyone wants to ask anything, just feel free to do so. If no one is asking anything, then I'm trying to explain the techniques that I'm using, or try to explain what I'm doing. If there are any kinds of questions, then I continue what I do, and while doing that I will answer whatever comes my way. And when I look like this, or wait, there. All the time that I'm when I'm looking to the side like this, I'm trying to have a look at the chat. Or my monitor for the chat is at a different angle, or here, you wouldn't be able to see this if the monitor would have been in front of me. Okay, now I know that I want to glue this piece on here. It's always, if you have the possibility to copy a measurement from another part of your build, just do that. And here it is. Here this angle just looks so off because I had that angle there. Here, yeah, always try to copy dimensions directly from where you want to put stuff. Here now, I see that this works out. There. Now I can take the dimension from the bottom there, and here it's just if I get rid of a little bit of cardboard there, here, that's perfect. Here, now I can wait, wrong side up. Now I can take the measurement from here. This way I know where to cut the whole piece. I can put it in perfectly. Okay, I ripped this apart. Here I will take even though I just ripped one part away, I take the measurement for the other side, and this should leave me with a piece of cardboard that fits in there. Now before I apply it, I will... Oh, okay. It was enough just to push it down a bit. Okay, this will be added in there. And this will serve as something like a I don't know what it's called, like a foundation for this piece, which will be glued on here. This looks very good, or not very good, but all seems to work out according to plan. Now, this piece, when it is glued in here, maybe I won't even angle the surfaces. I won't. I will support them from the back. That means I will free this from its base architecture, from its foundation. I can cut this from the back side, that's easier for me. And now, when I try to glue that this piece, I have to watch out or be careful when I glue this piece to the inside of this triangular shape, for it is very flexible. Even though I spent some time to make it withstand more, it's still not very strong, but it should get the job done. Here, I'll just have to make sure that I'm not twisting the whole thing when I put it in there. Okay, it might be a good idea to here put just some like space holders in between this grill things here. And when I press it together, it should. Okay, now I will use glue on top of it that I want to stick to the back side. Oops, there. This thing has to be spread apart a bit further. So, captured on this camera. Now I try to make sure that this is 1.5 and 1.5, that is all good. Here, that there's like the same distance from the side to to each side, and now I will try to put some glue behind it so that everything is glued down in one step, and then I will just let it sit for a while and try not to disturb it. Is it? This actually looks promising. Promising. Yeah. This might look good in the end. Quite a complicated piece. And I think I will cover the whole thing with some masking tape. Today I'm like changing syllables or whatever. Hi, Second Skin. Welcome to the stream. How long will it take all together? That's really hard for me to say, for it's the first time that I'm building anything on a live stream, and it's the first time that I'm live streaming. So not today, but this project. Now this is day 7. So maybe it's 20 hours now that I'm in. But if I would have built this without a live stream, I think I would be further along. For I try to explain here what I'm doing, and then I really like to just react to the chat. Conservatively, I would estimate that it will take maybe 100 hours, maybe 150 hours. So it will take quite a while, but I really want to put in a lot of detail. I want to have a nice finish to the whole thing. I want to build a backing board. Here, maybe I can explain it once again. Here, the whole mask will be... Oops, wait. Here. At first it will be 3 parts to the mask, as the original Vader mask. Here, the whole thing will be cut here. So then there's this lower collar piece, then there's the face mask piece, and then there's the helmet piece. And I want to mount that. I don't know if you've seen stuff at my channel. For most of my stuff, I will show you. Here I built something to present it in, so I can hang it to my wall. And here, a sneak peek, it's not published yet. Here, this is for the Rambo knife, for example. So I can put it up on the wall like that. Okay. For the Vader, I want to really a really large frame kind of thing, and I want to build some kind of mechanic into the frame that will allow me to pull a lever that then when I pull the lever, pulls the whole model apart. Yeah, I think this is a good way to show it on the top camera. That when I pull that lever, then this face mask thing will stay in one place, but the helmet should move away, and the collar thing should move away. And then this serves just as an explanation to why it will take so long to build it. Here. And here, this is a great book, Art of from Star Wars to Indiana Jones, from Lucasfilm Archives. Here, if you watch this, here, this is a production used helmet, and you see all this kinds of details on there, and here and here and here. Because I want the helmet to split apart, or I want to have the possibility to make it open and close, I will have to build all the interior details too. So this adds a lot to the build time. And yeah, I think it will be around as long as I took for the Terminator arm on my channel. I don't know if you've seen it. Sounds very cool. Thanks. I hope I can deliver on what I'm promising. I don't know if you've seen the Terminator arm on my channel. That was the thing that took the longest up to this point. And there was something like 130 hours, something around that. That amount of time. Now, for this piece, now I think I can, or no, okay, I don't want to rush it. Yeah. I try to push them down, and I will not rush it, and try to do the responsible thing here and add some glue to all the connecting points. Because first there's more stability, and if I would use this in the model right now, it wouldn't be as important, but there's still a couple of steps that this piece especially will go through. First, there's something like a grate behind the mask. Can you? I don't know. Can? Yeah, there. Here, there's this like fencing stuff or grate or whatever behind this, behind the these bars. Then the nose piece has to be inserted. The whole thing has to be cut on the sides and be joined with this stuff here. And then it has to be inserted into the mask. The whole nose area has to be worked on. And so on and so forth. All that means that will receive quite a lot of physical stress, and I have to prepare it for that. And the time that I invest into this piece here is time very well spent for if you just see this and just the hint of the triangle that is below here, and all the rest would be in the shade, and this would be in the middle of a movie poster when it's finished, not like this, but you would instantly recognize Darth Vader. And that's the piece that is good enough to identify him at once. And it's even easier to identify him with this, from this part of his snout thing, as opposed to the silhouette of his whole helmet thing and from the side and whatever. Okay, if there's a lightsaber involved that is red, you will know, okay, it's Vader. But this is the most iconic thing about the mask. So spend time on the important pieces, or I want to spend time on the pieces that are most important to what the character is. And for me, this thing is so important because if you think about it, right? If you think about it, it's this breathing sound of Vader. This. Well, I got a very dry mouth. I don't have a very good Vader voice right now, but because he got this distinct breathing sound, you're actually forced to watch where the sound is coming from. And this is the sound grill kind of thing to his helmet, and that makes it so important. At least that's what I think why this is so like ingrained in my memory. Ingrained, I don't know if ingrained is right. Embedded into my memory. Embedded into my memory. Yeah. But I'm really excited that I will have a Vader mask soon. And I'm even more excited that I will have taken the time to build it. For time is so difficult to come by at a certain age. And there's always stuff like, oh, no, maybe I do this and this and this before. And especially now for the channel. Yeah, in the time that I built this thing, I could build like 10 other smaller things that will bring more traffic to my site. But I just try to do stuff that I really like. And I asked people in my about my channel video. There's this here. That's a video I put up like a month ago, and I asked if there's anyone has any preference on this thing, that he should write it down in the comments. And there was only one person that was that answered, and that person says Vader Helmet. And I'm like really sorry that I don't remember the name right now, but I will feature it in the main video about the helmet then. So I was like contractually bound to do the Vader Helmet next. Chat, is that the size of the real helmet? Let me ask you, what do you think? You think it's too small? It's too big? Just your first impressions, and then I will go on about the size of the helmet. Okay? I hope this doesn't sound asshole-ish. Asshole-ish? Doesn't sound mean or whatever. I just would like to know if it looks too big or too small. And I try to ask that a lot of people, just what their impression is when they see the helmet. Maybe too small. Yeah. Actually, it's a little bit, but just a little bit too small. But that's due to the fact that, okay, I once saw a real a one-to-one scale replica of a production-used helmet at a movie convention here in Germany. And at this convention, David Prowse was there. I was not waiting for an autograph, but he was the one that played Vader, and he's taller than me. I am 6'4", and he's 6'6". So it's like he's this much taller. This amount taller, and he was a bodybuilder, which does not make his head bigger, but yeah, he was a big guy, and the helmet was made for him and for his proportions. And for me, when I on the first live stream for this helmet, you see that I fit that against my helmet. So I wanted to have a helmet that fits my size. And this means that it's a bit smaller. And I kind of got a small head. And the main thing here, this helmet will actually grow. For here, as you can see, or might not see here, is that the angle to the back here, it needs to be more pronounced. So I will have to push that out, and the snout will come out a bit, and overall the Vader helmet, I don't know if it's visible in this toy thing here. It's hard to hold since I broke it apart. Here, the helmet is bigger overall, not overall, but here it's taller, and I will build that in, and then if you can see it, it's coming down here. The whole helmet is coming down nearly to this level. So that makes it a whole lot bigger. And I will add it into it, but I haven't yet. So I think this. I think it starts to look good, but there's a whole lot of work to be done. But as I pointed out before, the thing that I like about cardboard is that it is really easy to change stuff. So I can always add to it. I can subtract from it. It is a lot of fun to work with cardboard. Or it is for me. I think when I'm working on this that so what I'm thinking about is if I start to do this grating behind this mask here. Now, for this will be just the like mouthpiece stream, and here I will continue to address some stuff here, and yeah, so I try to have some kind of focus here, even though it does not seem like that. One thing that I have to mention is that I want the videos to be available after I streamed them. So if somebody, for what reasons ever, wants to watch the making of this thing, he could possibly do it and then watch like 100 hours worth of video. And as far as I understand it right now, I think that the videos are just allowed to be 3 hours long, or I won't be able to put them in my onto my channel, or then the beginning of this would be lost, and all I could save as a video is 3 hours long, which means I will take a 10-minute break in 7 minutes, and I will be right back. The chat will stay open, everything will stay open, but if I disconnect for that time, I will be able to like start a new recording on YouTube, and that's like the idea of the whole thing. Do you understand what I'm trying to bubble here? And if so, it would be nice if I see you again when I come back from it. For I'm not stopping the stream. I'm just giving YouTube the time to add this stream to my channel and to start a new one when I reconnect. So, and because this is a disconnect then at the end of one video, please, if you're interested in this kind of streaming, if you're interested in cardboarding, if you like think it's okay to support a kind of like this channel, but for live streaming it is very important that if you want to be informed about it, here click the bell icon which is next to the subscribe button, and I think you can just click the bell icon when you subscribe, so maybe you can do both. And yeah, if you like this stuff, leave a like. If not, leave a dislike. And I hope for the people that are online now to see you again in a couple of minutes. And for the people that see it after it was live, thanks for watching. And yeah, I hope to see you again then. Okay, so now it's another 5 minutes. These were the words that I needed to address for the people that are not live. So for this live streaming format just really gives me the possibility to really explain some techniques in depth. Maybe I will cut some parts from the live stream and make shorter videos from it. That depends on how good the quality is. For some videos look like crap. This one now has the biggest bitrate that I've used yet, and my new internet connection seems to hold up. And I hope that the quality is good enough to take excerpts from the live stream and turn them into cardboarding 101 videos, before I talk about some stuff quite extensively in this format here, before I got the time. Here, now I'm trying to bring this together here. I think I will add one more layer, and then this thing really starts to come to the front. And in the real mask, which is something that is not visible in this toy thing, is I have to watch it again. I'm really not sure if the screws on the side here are on the top or on the bottom part. If they're part of the face mask or if they are part of the neck piece. I just had this here. Okay. Here, these are part of the neck of the neck piece, and they're part of the neck piece. This means that I will just thicken this, round off the corners, and then this piece is nearly done. Great news. Okay, this is the 3-hour mask. The 3-hour mark approaching. I will stop the stream. I will stop the stream now, and I will be back in. Let's be on the safe side in 12 minutes, which would make it. Oh my god, man! Yeah, just in 12 minutes. It's late already. See you in 12. Bye bye. See you in 12.